I wonder when women are like pregnant, do they like practice their poses or something, or do they like look in the mirror and say, "Ooh, I don't have a booty. Will I get a booty at the end of this? Or is this whole thing gonna suck?"
People always joke about how guys really want a female to be pretty, and that's really the only requirement in order to wife her. However, a guy got a few other requirements that needs to be met before he actually dates. He needs to have gone to school, he needs to have a good job, he needs to look good, he has to be physically fit. It's a lot of things, but there's a reason for that. It's a natural instinct, especially for females. Let's just look at something as simple as the egg. When a man actually ejaculates, he releases hundreds of sperm into the uterus of a female. Of those 100, a couple of them don't make it. Some of them, they can't see, they can't hear, they don't have ears, they don't have eyes. They're really just trying to follow hormones. Those that actually can make it past the uterus, that make it into the fallopian tube, it actually releases an enzyme so it can break down the outer layer of the egg. Like I said, the egg really not trying to get found by just anybody. Like, it really wants to have a special somebody, my knight in shining armor, that can whisk me away and bring me to a better life and do me better and can make four figures times 100 million trillion. When a sperm comes inside of the egg, it's like sex again. It's like round two. It's like round two of sex. It's like 2 rounds of sex. When a sperm comes inside of the egg and the egg changes and things like that, it actually then combines to become one cell. And remember, these are sex cells. We now have mama's genes and we have papa's genes, and then when it combines together, we have an embryo once division occurs. The reason why division needs to occur is so there can be multiple cells, and then division is going to occur again and again and again. The first time that those cells combine, that was actually called meiosis. But once it starts dividing again, it then transitions to mitosis. But don't worry, I'll have a video for that. I know you're anxious to hear me talk about how you're formed, but before I get to that, I want to put a stipulation that science isn't perfect. And the human body is really science. So you're not perfect. The human body is not perfect. Sometimes one sperm actually makes it past the covering of an egg. When that happens, well, get multiples, and they're so cute when they're twins. They're even cute when they're triplets. Then when you get to quadruplets and centuplets, you start questioning what the design of your mini basketball team's jerseys should look like. After fertilization actually occurs in the fallopian tube, after about 5 to 6 days, it then travels to the uterus. And then the lining of the uterus thickens. I want you to understand, like, in your mind, what this looks like. This is a solid wall. This is your uterus. This is the embryo that wants to be developed. It sees the wall and says, "Oh, hello wall. I'm going to dig and dig and dig and dig until I can find a place. And then once you find a place for me, I will then stay there for a few months." Don't think, oh, the wall is that flexible. No, it is digging a hole into the uterus. As we move along to the second trimester, this is now the most fun part of the mama. She ain't too pregnant, but she's like pregnant enough to say, "Hey Instagram, I'm pregnant." So now she actually has a little human inside of her that is starting to have joints. And also it is able to form facial expressions. So when you do those 3D scans and images, you can actually see the baby smiling sometimes, or pouting, frowning, or scared, or whatever it feels like doing. Funny enough though, it also has a brain starting to form and is able to think. Unfortunately, it's not able to associate the proper emotions, so don't be worried if you see a frowning baby. It's not that it's sad, it's just that it's still trying to work it out. Start flexing your face, trying to figure out, wow, I can do all these things with my face. During this trimester, women are also able to feel their baby moving. Sometimes they might say, oh, the baby kicked. You don't know if it kicked. It could have punched you. You're just saying it kicked because you are a liar. The woman can feel it moving. When it's still, during the first trimester, you can't really feel a baby move. During the second trimester, that's when things get on and popping. During the third trimester is where it's the favorite for some. During the third trimester, the baby is starting to dream. It's starting to actually respond to light. So if it's daytime, it knows that it's daytime. If it's nighttime, it knows that it's nighttime. And if you were to all the time be able to see your 3D ultrasounds, you might actually even see the baby's eyes opening and closing, because during the third trimester, it is actually able to understand what that function is used for, to cover its eyes when it needs to and open it when appropriate. During this third trimester, all of the organs that are inside of a fetus is actually functional, which makes sense because the baby's ready to come. By 36 weeks into its development, it's actually ready to give birth without any problems. It's fully functional organs, the bones are hardened. A complete pregnancy is actually 40 weeks, but of course it can be a little shorter than that, and the baby will be just fine, and it could be a little longer than that, and the baby's just fine. I was actually in my mother past 40 weeks. I was a little bit more developed than others. So, still a little bit more developed than others. Tell them who touch, baby. Tell them who touch, baby. Tell them who touch, baby. Follow me. Let me teach you something.